everybody. Welcome to the Fandom Flux Podcast, episode 176.
Want me to look this up, dude?
Maybe.
To YouTube.
I'm back. What did I miss?
Trying to figure out what number episode this is.
Yeah.
We've started. Yeah, it's 176.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Yeah,
as long
it's-
as we don't have the others recorded.
It's that one. It's 176. Okay. I'm Casey. Hi. We have Weasel.
Yo.
Spoken.
A
And Patient.
Hi, I'm not Kenshi618, and I'm wishing he was here.
Aww.
long times.
I'm sure that would have been impressive spoken, but your mic cut out.
I hate this room. It's so dead.
So I had a good week.
Yay.
Yeah. Stupid head cloudy fogness went away. It sounds like it hasn't, based on my copious verbiage. But, yeah, it has. I'm just sleepy because I woke up half an hour ago. But yeah, super productive week and feeling better than I did last week. And I finally managed to edit and upload all of the zero interest videos that I've had on my computer for a long time. So yeah, I spent all of yesterday basically just editing and doing not much else. So that was, I won't say fun, but I'll say productive. Yeah, so that was cool.
Well, I spent the week doing basically fuck all of any use. I played some games, talked with some people, tried to get some writing done, failed to get some writing done. Have been flip-flopping on this one fanfic I'm working on and what setting I want to set it in for like a week and a half now.
What setting you want to set it in?
I'm looking at either one of a couple of different anime that I'm familiar with, one particular video game that I'm familiar with, or just throwing my fucking hands up and making it a multi-cross.
We're currently considering the...
Weasel, keep it quiet.
Oh, okay.
There's a reason I'm being vague.
Okay.
You are adorable, Weasel.
No, I'm not. I'm vicious.
No, you're not.
Oh, bite your arm.
That's adorable.
I'm still a threat.
You were never a threat.
Ugh.
All right. Is that it, Spoken?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said, nothing of any use or particular productivity.
Weasel?
Well,
Back in a sec.
Sure, patient. Spoken. I can't thunk today. So I got some serious work done on my RP last night. I'm starting to sort out online RP and I got online. I'm not proud of it. I like Sword Art Online, but I hate that I like Sword Art Online. It's my biggest guilty pleasure. I know it's shit. I acknowledge it's shit. I think it's shit as well. But I can't help liking it. And honestly, if you ask me, I couldn't even tell you what I liked about it.
Casey, what's your stance?
On SAO, I've pretty much already outlined it in previous episodes. I think the plot is ridiculous and actually kind of misogynist in a very roundabout way.
Which anime are we talking about?
SAO.
Ha! Yes, you're right.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't use that word lightly. I feel like misogynist is a word that's kind of overused to the point of diluting its meaning. It means hating women. And I think SAO qualifies. A lot of the times when people use that word, it doesn't actually qualify. It's the wrong word. It's disrespect or looking down on, but not hate. Hate is a very strong word to use.
Yes, it is.
But SAO, I think, qualifies. If only slightly. Yeah, it makes me kind of uncomfortable to watch, which is why I stopped watching it at around... I think it was the second episode of the Alfheim thing. When
Fair point.
You get what's his name?
That's about when it starts really getting shit.
Yeah, I forget what his name was, but
Keep in mind, it is Sword Art Online.
It's all shit, yes, but it's not all the same quality of shit.
yeah, the guy with the glasses who's...
Pedo McRapeface.
Yeah, and I was going to say, when he starts doing his rape face to the girl he has locked up in his dungeon, literally.
I thought that guy with the glasses was Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic.
Well, he's had some rape faces too, but that's a different thing.
Shame on you.
Usually that's a
Shame on
joke. Usually.
Shame on you. Shame.
Shame on who for
Yeah,
what?
well, Sword Art Online in 5 minutes refers to him as Pedo McRapeface, and they're not wrong.
Yeah, she is like 14, isn't she?
By the time the Aincrad arc ends, I think she's like 16, 17. Which is past the age of consent in Japan.
It's past the age of consent in the UK.
It's also past the age of consent in most states over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At
Like-
worst, that's ephebophilia, which is a different thing.
Yeah.
Like, to be clear, there is a difference between these definitions, and to most people, unfortunately, this would just label me as a pedophile in their eyes, just by knowing that there are multiple definitions. But,
Same. Yeah, I've had that.
yeah, pedophilia specifically is children, as in 10 or younger.
There are different terms for different age ranges.
Yeah. Yeah. And anytime you try and correct people on that, they will instantly think less of you. Just...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry for wanting to use words correctly. It doesn't mean I want to molest children. Sorry to burst your bubble and your semi-mindless hatred of people.
Well,
Fucking SJWs.
If I had a nickel for every time I've had to say, I'm not convinced by the evidence, I don't actually hate your magical sky daddy, I would be able to afford rent for a few good months. There are a depressingly large number of people, particularly in the part of the country that I live in, which is usually referred to as the Bible Belt, who think that anyone who doesn't believe in their particular version of the Christian God is either in denial and actually does believe, which is a really insulting thing to say,
Incredibly
Or-
patronizing, yep.
or, oh, you're just an atheist because you want to sin, or, oh, you were never a real Christian in the first place, or any number of insulting, patronizing. I wouldn't have nearly as much of a hate boner for this kind of thing if I didn't have to put up with it from my relatives every week.
Is it wrong that I can actually eat while talking about this?
Yeah. As a base concept, I like religion. Religion is a useful societal tool. It is a moral compass, or it can be. Organized religion and strict adherence to vaguely worded and often misinterpreted or reinterpreted or
Deliberately mistranslated.
yes,
Yeah.
rules causes so many problems that are entirely unnecessary and oftentimes just allows people to manipulate people in unfortunate ways. I am perfectly happy to say you believe God is real and he wants you to be a nice dude or lady dude and just be an okay person. Awesome. Good stuff.
Well, here's something I didn't actually know, because they never taught me in religious ed, until I started dating an actual Christian. And no, this is not the Christian I'm currently dating. This was a previous Christian I dated. Apparently, it is not being a good person that gets you into heaven.
That depends on the denomination you're talking to.
Yeah,
There's, as with like 70% of the Bible and large portions of most related religious texts, repeated translations, mistranslations, political alterations, expungements, and additions after the fact have turned the Bible into something that is so inherently self-contradictory that you can find support for almost literally anything in there.
Well, she told me that.
There's lines supposedly said directly by the Nazarene that say, you can only get into heaven if you believe in me, and it doesn't matter how good a person you are. Then there's other bits, also supposedly said by the Nazarene, that say that you can only get into heaven if you follow my laws.
My stepdad said that probably the biggest problem he had with Christianity was hell. Because he just can't believe that any god would consider any sin completely irredeemable to the point of eternal, endless damnation. And that was his biggest problem with Christianity.
I'm trying not to say anything, but...
Patient, we're not talking about Mormons.
Yeah. Also, if you want to say something and actually give your opinion and not, just get shouted down by three, let's say non-religious people, you're entirely welcome to, and I will make sure no one just shouts you down.
Yeah, I try not to do that if I can possibly manage it.
I have no problem with your religion, patient, or you speaking up about it.
I do trust you three, because you're my friends. Our take on... my religion's take on heaven and hell is divided into 4 separate categories. The celestial kingdom is the highest glory of heaven. Basically, those who have done their best, made as much of their lives as they could, and followed God as much as they could, they go to the celestial kingdom. Those who fell short, did good, but not as good as they could have, go to the second level, the terrestrial kingdom, which is still heaven. And the final level is composed of those who didn't keep the commandments as well as they should have. That would be the telestial kingdom. It's wicked, and the wicked are pretty much consigned to be there out of the presence of God, but even the telestial kingdom is infinitely better than this world. So, out of God's presence, but not out of his consideration. The definition of hell that we have, outer darkness, the only sin that's bad enough to land someone there, from what I can tell, is blasphemy against the Holy Ghost, which is not as simple as atheism. It's more along the lines of if you've involved yourself in the faith, if you've grown as close to God as you can, felt all that he has to give, developed a testimony of the truth, if you've received all the blessings he has to give, and you still turn away and deny his existence, to attribute his works unjustly, and don't repent ever. That's, as far as we understand, the only thing grave enough to be unforgivable.
I was under the impression from a former friend of mine, a friend who is a former Mormon, not a Mormon who is a former friend, that an acknowledged elder in the church who commits premeditated murder would be going there as well.
I haven't heard anything about that, but negative rumors about Mormonism are a dime a dozen. Say it again? That an acknowledged elder in the church, someone who's been through the missionary process and everything else, who's active in the church, who commits premeditated murder. Supposed to be like some, I think, like, I don't know, utter refutation of the glory of God's existence, or, no offense, but like some religious babble like that. I honestly didn't understand it very much. Some high-ranking elder of the church committed premeditated murder, is that what you're saying?
No. He's saying that if an elder of the church, which, by the way, for people that don't understand that, that's someone that's gone through
basically,
they basically spread the word of God for a couple of years. Sam Jazz did it, by the way, if anyone remembers him. He wrote the fic that I based my first fic on.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. If someone who has gone through that and is thus fully acknowledged as an elder of the church, if they kill someone, then they will then go to the hell equivalent that you have.
Well, it comes back to what I said before. It's just, well, I'm not sure. I mean, murder is the second gravest sin in the church. So, I mean, I'm not sure that someone would be automatically condemned to the outer darkness, but for a lack of repentance, if they never regretted it, and they never showed that they regretted it, never attempted to make amends or anything, I'm not sure that I'd be surprised about it, but I'm still under the impression that anything is forgivable except for the blasphemy part.
So blasphemy is the worst sin in the church?
Once again, it's not as simple as atheism or saying God doesn't exist. It's
fully believing and then turning your back on it.
Precisely.
Which... Okay, not opening that kind of worms. To go back to the premeditated murder thing, that is an example of what I was talking about. It's not clearly outlined, apparently. In fairness, we're basing this on one person's knowledge of Mormon teachings, which, humans
in that particular
inherently flawed. So he might be wrong, we might be wrong, Spoken's friend might be wrong. Even so, that's one tiny thing that you could split into two religions off of, just based on interpretation of the Word of God.
I mean, which major denomination? I think it's the Baptists, maybe, that has that old joke about... No, I think it's Episcopalians. It has the joke about how many schisms they've had.
Episcopalians? Aren't those the C of E church ones?
I think? Like, I've got some knowledge of specific sects of Christianity that I've dealt with in the past, like some of the major ones, but like the origins of some of them I'm not quite clear on.
Yeah, it is. It's the Anglican Church. Church of England.
Would we like to continue discussing this, or did Weasel have anything else to say?
No, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything to add.
Just the RP then?
Yeah,
that's what you meant.
This is Patient very subtly asking whether we can change the subject.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I just don't like disagreements among friends, is all.
Okay, yeah, so...
Slight disagreements, but yes.
Yeah, this was just an intelligent discussion. So I've been playing Sims 3, and... So Matilda, my witch, my main sim, is engaged to Derek, who is a vampire chef. Think about that. They're engaged. I plan to have it looks like the wedding is probably going to be sometime in winter. Right now, Matilda's had her bachelorette party, and right now Derek is currently at this moment holding his bachelor party. He's invited Orthopox, who is an alien who lives in the household.
I love that reference.
It's a reference. He came with that name. I didn't name him that. When Matilda invited, he was just an alien who was coming in to investigate. Who came to Earth to investigate humans, and Matilda befriended him, invited him to live with him. To live with her, and now he is. His full name is Orthopox Iohad. Iohad? I'm not sure. Orthopox, according to Spoken, is a reference to destroy all humans, which was a video game series that was popular around the early noughties.
I wouldn't say popular. I'd say kind of niche.
Well-known.
It was a cult success, is what it was.
Yeah.
The first two games got decent ratings. The third game was a Wii exclusive, and that really tells you all you need to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the last game was theoretically a 360 port. I think they released it on PS3 as well in the EU market.
I don't know. I definitely played it on 360. It was, a game from the early noughts.
It was a game from the early noughties that had graphics quality and programming stability out of the late 90s.
Yeah.
Like, I get that it was supposed to be set in 1979, but, like, you don't have to have CGI graphics tech that looks like it was from 1979 for all the characters.
I really wanted to like it.
I really did like it. I just didn't like its habit of crashing every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, the gameplay was fun. I thought that the targeting system for the saucer was a damn sight better than any of the earlier games. I just didn't like the fact that if you set off more than 3 bombs at the same time, that the game would freeze up.
Yeah,
Are you saying, Casey, that you wanted to like it because it was a good game aside from those glitches, or are you saying you wanted to like it in the same way that you wanted to like Romeo x Juliet?
I don't remember ever saying I wanted to like Romeo x Juliet. I remember explicitly not liking Romeo x Juliet when I was a kid, and my opinion hasn't improved from actually learning about Shakespeare.
That's a definite contradiction to what you said on that podcast.
You're going to have to remind me, because this There are some good things about Romeo x Juliet, but not... A lot of them are very silly choices, which, it's Baz Luhrmann, which kind of makes sense. But...
I think the opinion that we had on the podcast was basically that it seemed like a glorified Shakespeare fan fiction or something like that.
What was Romeo x Juliet?
That was the modern-day text lift, basically, of Romeo x Juliet. So all the text is the same, but they set it in the modern day. So
oh yeah,
all the guns are branded with sword. They are the sword manufactured guns.
Yeah, it's something that not many people caught except my twin brother, who's a gun nut. He can name any model of gun and make of gun just by looking at it. So he knew what they were doing when they named the gun, when they said like, "Take my rapier," and he's holding a gun.
Yeah.
Because the sort type of gun is called a rapier.
Fetch me my longsword hence, and he pulls out a shotgun from the overhead compartment of his car.
Yeah.
It was cute, and that's the nicest thing I'll say about that. Also, the reimagining the setting as being two business magnates. What were they? They were. It was like.
Two corporations, both alike in equity.
Essentially, yeah, and, that's not the same contextually as, it being in the Renaissance period when, successful and important families could duke it out in the streets and kill each other largely with impunity because, the government was actually kind of weak.
Talking of, did they commit the, same sin that the movie from the 90s did?
Clarification, please.
Shakespeare has this thing in his plays where quite often he will describe the combat moves that the characters perform during fight scenes through exposition from watching characters. The Plague on Both Your Houses scene, the sword fight immediately preceding that, describes a highly specific method of killing an opponent, which is a feint leading to stepping past them and thrusting behind under your own arm to strike them in the kidneys.
And
when done
you're saying
on stage, it's a very nice thing. Unfortunately, they included the line describing that move in the 90s movie when he basically just stabbed him in the chest.
I don't remember, and I don't think that would be as effective with gunplay. But I don't remember whether they actually do that.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, also, all of the actors are very bad at reading Shakespeare. Or rather, most of them are. Guy that played Mercutio, whose name I can't remember, did well with it. But Leonardo DiCaprio was...
DiCaprio.
He was garbage.
Leonardo DiCaprio was Leonardo DiCaprio. You need say no more.
Yeah.
The voice of Mercutio is loading. It's loading. That's what it is.
Yeah.
While it's loading, anything else, Weasel?
So Derek invited Orthopox to his bachelor party because, he's his best bro. But Dill, the plum bot who works in politics, is working. Cheryl, Orthopox's girlfriend, who was a genie that Metoda freed, is also working. She's in business. Metoda is writing her next novel, and the only phrase that comes to mind is, "Well, the ladies are at work, the men will play."
Why does that phrase come to mind?
Because all the ladies are working, so the men are going to have fun at their bachelor party.
Okay, then.
Really? My mind goes somewhere dirty. You're just like, okay.
Well, he's used to it by now, Weasel.
Good point.
Yeah, so your Sims 3 game sounds kind of like the most bizarre genre show I've ever heard of.
It's basically imagine Friends crossed with like the most bizarre fanfiction.net multi-cross of all time.
I've actually thought about writing a Sims 3 fanfic.
You shouldn't.
I shouldn't.
No.
No, by default, it would sound like it would read like one of the worst fanfictions in existence. Just
Wow.
not because of your skill at writing, that wouldn't even come into it. Just based on the content of what would come out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the guy who played Mercutio, Christopher Bevins.
Wait, what?
Posted the link to his credits.
Oh! Sorry, I got completely confused. No wonder you were, pointing out... Yeah. I thought you were talking about Romeo plus Juliet, the DiCaprio film.
No.
No, that's not quite the same. It's the same symbol,
Romeo...
just turned like 45 degrees. No.
Oh, Romeo x Juliet is a...
Yeah, that's the anime one. Yeah, that one was stupid. Yeah.
No, so yes, the one that you were talking about did have that shitty line taken and slapped in there despite them...
Spoken likes things to be well spoken.
I like things to be well spoken, and as an entertainer and as someone who is involved in theater and performance, I like when directors don't do completely incompetent staging and completely ignore the script. I really like when that happens.
So let me clarify this a little bit. So, what exactly is the scenario? Is it that they used the line and then ignored the line and actually just did it completely differently?
So the line is between Mercutio and Tybalt. The killing scene. One of the characters observing comments on the move used to actually strike the killing blow. Right. That comment also happens in the DiCaprio movie. That comment references a specific type of fainting stab. If they had put that in, that would have been a really nice acknowledgement of that bit of staging, which is included in the text itself rather than being written in as a side note or a director's note. But they didn't. It's just a straight-up stab. So...
Wait, the DiCaprio film? Where the swords were guns?
Wait, no. I'm thinking of the other one, aren't I?
The anime. That's really confusing, right?
No, I'm not thinking of the anime. I'm thinking of the other shitty live-action Romeo and Juliet film adaptation.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about originally. The one from... Yeah. Yeah.
God, I hate everything to do with modern adaptations of that play. I hate that play in the first place as well, because it's a comedy of stupidity on the parts of almost literally everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was, it was a retelling, so...
The earliest film for Romeo and Juliet was made in 1900.
Dang.
Silent film, must have been. Or... Yeah, probably. Yeah, that play was not actually written by Shakespeare originally. So...
It's lost, apparently.
Well, there's actually some evidence to suggest that Shakespeare wasn't a real person at all.
Yeah, that's a stupid theory. For
there's
multitude of reasons.
There are multiple... Quite aside from the fact that there are multiple historical attributions directly to him.
All right.
Yeah. So, See, ironically, religion compared to Shakespeare is, I am more likely to jump down your throat about Shakespeare. So I feel like Patient is trying to gently steer us away.
Patient cares a lot more about religion, and Casey, you and I care a lot more about staging and classical literature.
As I always say, anything worth doing is worth doing right, so I can definitely agree with you two about that. Though corpsing is never not funny, at least on the blooper reel.
I actually had to deal with an actual supposed corpse on stage corpsing during a production of Johnny Skeeky a couple of years ago.
Well, that is where the term comes from.
Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, for people that aren't aware, because not everyone actually learns about theatre and stuff, corpsing is where you get the actor to laugh when they're not supposed to laugh, essentially.
Yeah. We were doing our dress rehearsal, and the director at my alma mater really likes to do weird or unexpected settings. So she had everyone dressed up for a production of Johnny Skeeky, which is supposed to be set in... I think it's supposed to be, Renaissance Italy for the original setting. She updated all of the location references to the town that the university is in. And during the dress rehearsal, the corpse of, what's his name? The guy that everyone's trying to steal everything from for the will. He heard for the first time the updated locations, and keeping in mind that we were recording this for publicity and commercials to get people to buy tickets, he just started giggling during the bit where everyone lists the bits that they want that he owns, and he just couldn't stop, and it took us like 10 minutes to get him to calm down.
Oh, that is great.
All right. So, Weasel, anything else?
No, it's been a pretty uneventful week.
All right. So, does that mean it comes to me now, then?
If you like.
Yeah.
Fun thing. Patient's had a thing he's wanted to talk about for like 4 or 5 weeks, I want to say. And we've just never actually been able to give him an opportunity because we've been recording at times when he wasn't available.
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting for something else to give specifics, but I think I can at least say this much. For the first time in my life, I have a girlfriend.
Oh, nice. Good to you, dude.
Yeah, she's amazing in all respects, and well, it's just wonderful.
And she writes self-insert fanfics.
Weasel. Lack of
What?
specifics, please. We're planning on making our relationship public in a little while, but not yet.
I could have used that information sooner.
I thought I told you already. My apologies.
It's okay, I had no idea. I mean, you told us pretty easily that, the crossed brain.
Yes, I told the cross brain, of course. It was Omniac's suggestion. We were... I can't talk about it without giving too much away.
Casey, can you edit that part out or something?
In
necessary.
fairness, Patient did stop you before you said anything that was particularly, like, writing self-insert fanfics is a spectacularly common trait. So,
Particularly since there's been people coming along showing that SIs are actually possible to do well.
Yeah.
Represents.
So,
And I suppose in fairness, I didn't specify for what series.
Yeah,
so
you can specify
it could be
anything.
anyone.
Yeah.
I was seriously expecting you to pull a Garp right there, Weasel.
You know, I can totally see it happening.
I wouldn't put it past me. I've done it before, actually.
So, yeah, that's the biggest news. I'll be talking more about her once the time comes. Aside from that, this past week has been following the conclusion of my spring semester at UNT. I've got a summer course coming up, 2 summer courses, one at 8 a.m. and one at 10 a.m., Monday through Thursday. Because of a lack of other options to complete my degree plan.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
It's going to be fun. Fun. All kinds of fun. But this week I've spent at home catching up with my siblings and parents. Father's not doing too well, and age is taking its toll on him. But I'm on good terms. I'm growing closer again to my sister. I've never been the most social person in the world, and so we didn't really... What?
I thought there was a reason we got on so well.
Yeah. Well, like I said, never been the most social person, so we didn't really grow up together. But we talked the last time we were both home together, and both expressed regret at that, and we're doing what we can to rebuild a relationship, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I'm basically doing the same thing. So,
nice.
Except I forget to text my sister like literally every day.
Aside from that, I've been playing Pokemon Coliseum.
Oh God, I pity you.
I'm so sorry.
It's a fun game.
It's a fun game, but most Pokemon games have a decent difficulty curve. Coliseum has a difficulty brick wall.
Oh, that's so pity. No.
Hey, the only hard part in my eyes is just actually catching the Shadow Pokemon. On the note of which, I have tried 3 times without success to snag that stupid Tyranitar.
The Coliseum fight, like in the actual Coliseum, where you face what's his name, who's got I think it's like 1 or 2 of the legendary beasts. I never managed to get past that fight.
I actually never managed to get past Mirror B and his
Mirror.
Fucking Mirror B. Okay, sorry. There's not enough R's, but okay. I never managed to get past him. Those
Ludicolo.
Rick Chain Ludicolo and that borderline racist music of his.
Sombrero-wearing pineapple ducks.
Yeah.
And that borderline racist music of his that really fits the sombrero-wearing pineapple ducks.
Yeah.
Despite, again, being kind of, a little borderline racist there.
The reason it's Mirror and not Mirror is because that was a crap translation, and his name is a reference to Mirror Ball. Like a disco ball.
Balls.
Must you. And as in answer to your question, Spoken, Mirror B was the first of 4 admins. Each of them had 1 Shadow Pokemon each. Mirror B's was a Pseudo-Wudo, and the remaining 3 each had 1 of the 3 legendary beasts.
Someone's the odd man out.
Yeah, well Mirror B is the odd man out for another reason. He's the only one who showed up in the next game. His popularity was through the roof.
Well, yeah, he had the best Pokemon out of all of them.
And
Clearly.
he also had the most fabulous hair.
Oh,
Dance
yes.
moves. Holy shit, those dance moves.
Oh, yes.
Well, if
And
you've
you
got a
should-
Ludicolo that rocks out all of the time, you gotta learn how to dance. You gotta know how to move to that beat.
There's backup dancers. Pineapple somewhere wearing pineapple duck backup dancers.
Yeah.
You gotta admit, the guy had flair.
Ludicolo.
Oh, yes. And he had even more flair in the next game. I mean,
Did he do a heel face turn?
No, he's more like a wandering Pokemon thief. But listen to this. Listen to this track.
I would, but I can't.
Oh, come on. It won't kill the podcast to put on a few seconds of it, will
It
it?
might actually, so...
All right, fine. We'll wait to listen until after the podcast is over. Which shouldn't be too much longer.
Yeah.
All we're doing is what we're doing, and we're doing what... Words are fun.
I'll be right back.
See, I stopped doing my bits, and people just come in and steal them like vultures.
I'm sorry, Casey.
It was a joke, dude. Chill.
Well, I still... All right. Anyway, let's see. Is there anything else? Coliseum.
I continue to have bad luck when it comes to streaming, or rather, with other people's streaming.
Okay.
So, story that I don't think any of you guys have ever heard. Way back in the day, like, oh god, over 5 years ago, I think. I watched a Pokemon streamer doing Nuzlocke runs named Pokemon Rob at the time. And he did Nuzlocke runs. Basically was the inspiration for our Nuzlocke run that we did on the channel.
I'm back, baby.
Welcome back, Weasel.
Yeah.
Quick clarification for the listeners. In a Nuzlocke run, basically, there are two main rules. One, you have to release a Pokemon if it faints, and two, you can only catch the first Pokemon that you encounter in an area.
Yep, pretty much.
Which means you end up with a lot of Zubat.
There's
No, it doesn't actually.
there's variations on that basically boil down to you can't catch dupes or you don't have to catch dupes.
Dukes?
Duplicates.
No, you end up with one Zubat.
Yeah, and he followed that rule among a lot of extra rules because it was one of the hack versions. It was the same hack version that we played on the channel, which was Blaze Black 2, where you can get every Pokemon catchable, legitimately.
Where can I get that for Heart Gold?
You would have to play it on an emulator, Weasel.
I don't mind an emulator. Can I get that for Heart Gold?
There is a Heart Gold version, yes. It's
Or, Soul Silver,
It's less stable, is my experience. Like, I had trouble getting past the first area. Yeah, game-breaking glitches abound. But, so, he was playing one of these, and pulling names from his chat, people that were actively watching, and he would use their names. And I got picked! Yay! Yay! And then he immediately killed me because he was stupid and blamed it on me. Not so yay.
That's not very nice. That's not very nice at all.
Yeah, he's a jackass. But, no, I don't actually know anything about his character. There's mixed reports on what he's actually like as a person. But, yeah, it was partially a bit because he makes fun of his audience constantly. It's part of the joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched a Game Attack stream yesterday. Yesterday, at the time of recording, it'd be, I'll say Friday, for the people that are watching the video when it uploads. And I thought, you know what? I really do want to support this channel because they're awesome and they are underappreciated and underrepresented in terms of audience. So I'm going to sponsor them. And they read out the sponsors and donors and everything every now and again. And they read out mine and got my name wrong. which would have been fine-ish, had they not mispronounced it as Fluck Casey. Leading one of them to just immediately shout out, "Man, Fluck Casey!"
What channel was this?
Game Attack.
I am so sorry, Casey.
I'm not.
Damn it. Why do streamers hate me?
Oh, poor Casey.
Poor Casey.
Feels bad. Oh.
All right. Well, I don't think I have anything else particularly noteworthy, except that, oh yes, I'm heading back to Denton in a few hours because I'm taking a road trip to Nauvoo, Missouri in the coming week.
That sounds like a place. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, rich history for the church.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's about it. Anything else, Casey, or do you want to take us out?
I got nothing else in particular. What's the date today?
The 20th.
Yeah, I think we already did donors, so that's fine.
Oh, of course. What am I thinking? There's one other thing that you guys might be interested in knowing. I'm not surprised that I forgot. It's sort of minor detail. Next Thursday, I'm turning 24.
Oh, sweet.
Yay! Happy birthday and stuff. I'll
Thank
have
you.
to remember to say happy birthday on the stream. I won't, so remind me. Yeah.
Alright.
I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
there's anything else. Tell you what, do you want to do recommendations? Because people keep complaining we're not doing recommendations.
Well, I found really nice, if ridiculously long, Naruto, basically a ship fic. It's the Hyuuga family series, an archive of our now.
Is that SHIT or SHIP?
I'm
Shit.
going to assume the latter.
Yeah. Primarily focused on the development of romance between characters, and does the incredibly bizarre by making a believable romance between Mitarashi Anko and Hyuga Hiyashi.
And apparently Hinata and Kankuro.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's
It
not
is by
Stalker
turns.
Crush, so that's better.
It is by turns adorable and hilarious, and it manages to avoid some of the major pitfalls of ship fix, even if it does start with the utmost cliche of an arranged marriage.
Oh.
It gets better.
Okay.
All right. I do have a recommendation, I suppose. I really can't say why I like this story. It's got a lot of elements in it that I don't like, but they're just... I guess it's just that well written. The story in question is... Let me see. No, that's not the right link. That's not the right link at all. Okay. So the story I have in mind is a Harry Potter Peggy Sue called Harry Potter and the Last Chance. It's in response to a challenge issued by an author named Reptilia28. Several people took up the challenge, but this is the only fic that finished. Basically, the premise is Harry is killed at 17 during a fight with Voldemort. He confronts death after death, and he's death is mad at seeing him because he's died a few times before, and he's very close to getting this particular Reaper fired because of how many times he's dying before his time, because he keeps getting into life-threatening situations. Death gives Harry a contract that lets him keep his memories when he goes back this time. And the story is supposed to end with Harry getting it right, killing Voldemort, living to a ripe old age, and getting the girl. The premise also includes that it has to be Harry and Hermione shipping.
Yeah, this is a challenge that's been taken up by a lot of authors.
Huh.
Hmm.
I've only seen 5 or so on fanfiction.net, but like I said, this is the only one I've seen that's been finished.
Being somewhat shipper that ships Harry and Hermione, I've seen this a lot. A lot.
You see, well, I don't really see the Hermione and Ron. I do see that I've always, like, since Chamber of Secrets, shipped Harry and Ginny.
Okay, I'd just like to clarify, the reason I like the premise, I like the proceeding, but there's Ron bashing and Ginny bashing and Molly bashing and Snape and Dumbledore bashing.
Molly bashing?
Yeah, the
That's
love
a
potion
thing?
thing. The love potion thing. It's really skeevy if you think about it in any kind of context.
Wait,
It's-
what love potion thing?
She dosed Arthur with a love potion, and he found out but was okay with it. So it's okay, right?
I didn't hear anything about that.
That's in... Oh, God. It's either the second or third book during the summer segment. And I think it was the third one. And she's telling the story to Hermione and Ginny, who giggle about it.
What?
Yeah, that's a thing from the books. That happened.
That's fucked.
All right. So I can't word good right now, clearly. So I think I'm just going to head off and enjoy some pizza for lunch. So I don't have anything else to say, and I'll catch you guys later, probably on Tuesday.
You're not going to stay for my recommendation?
What is your recommendation, Weasel?
This is I was going to suggest a Sword Art Online fanfic, but I don't want to cause anyone any pain.
I don't know. I was going to recommend a Sword Art Online fanfic, ironically. So.
Oh, well, I'll save that for next time. This one is called, they generically titled, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim by White Zephyr. Guess what series it's for?
Mass Effect.
Really?
Thank you, patient. I was
Danmachi.
waiting. Oh, I love you guys. So this one is a novelization of The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Though it's nicely paced, it only covers what it needs to, while including a whole team for the Dragonborn to accompany. In this case, the Dragonborn is a female Imperial thief. Like, a thief build, complete with the archery. Which I found interesting, because, usually in most promotional materials, the Dragonborn is depicted as a male Nord warrior. So, nice change up.
Yeah, I made fun of that. That was fun.
You made fun of the male Nord warrior thing?
Yeah.
In The Whitest Man in Skyrim?
Yeah.
Huh.
Sheogorath gets pissy about it. It's funny.
Though the promotional materials tend to flip-flop on whether the Dragonborn wields dual swords or sword and shield.
That's silly. Obviously, the Dragonborn wields a Nordic warhammer like any true Nord must.
The trailers had sword and shield, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like one or two of the trailers depicted him as dual swords.
There's a couple of ones that have him in gameplay footage wielding dual swords, but all the pre-animated stuff, as far as I remember, was short sword and shield.
Oh, okay.
And that stupid helmet.
Could be worse.
He could be wearing any other helmet in the game.
Orcish.
Why can no game developer do hats? I don't understand. They're terrible at hats. Anything else to say about this, Weasel?
The author's really nice. I've chatted with her. And there's also a sequel that covers Dawn Guard. I'll link that as well.
Okay.
It's quite well written, very nicely paced. Doesn't fall into the trying to include everything pratfalls that most of my video game fanfics tend to fall into, and also doesn't fall into the rehashing canon dialogue like I fall into. It's everything I wish I was. And it starts off a little bland, but it really, really gets good fast, and just keeps getting better.
Okay.
I kind of just wish it had a more unique title.
All right. My recommendation is called Lusus Naturae, which, if you're a Ruby fan, you might realize translates to Freak of Nature, because it's the name of one of the songs from the soundtracks.
Huh.
It is a Sword Art Online fanfic, where...
Is it the Sword Art Online Ruby crossover?
Nope, just Sword Art Online.
Oh.
And Eldritch Abominations. So, there is a race of aliens. I forget what they're called, but they are a race of aliens with... To use a D&D analogy, they have an intelligence of 18 and a wisdom of 2. So... They do a lot of crazy experiments for basically shits and giggles, and they find this one alien creature on a planet that can basically eat anything and incorporate it into its biology.
So a Metroid.
Think more eyes and teeth. And tentacles.
That is a Metroid.
Okay. I don't know.
They are literally eyes, teeth, and tentacles attached to a balloon.
Yeah, this is more eyes all over it, just covering the entire body for whatever that body happens to be, and teeth. Same. Yeah.
So Hermes Mora.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, that's a really good comparison, is Hermes Mora. Or at least the reimagined version of Hermes Mora from Dawn Guard.
The good version of Hermamora.
Yeah. So, these aliens decide, hey, these things are cool. They find 2 of them that are survivors after everything was destroyed, because these aliens have a wisdom of 2. And they abduct them and decide to do experiments on them. And one of them, the sister, gets trained to be basically their attack dog. And the other one is just kind of shitty, so they just send it to Earth to be experimented on by one of their shitty members of their species. That is a fuck-up, which, by the standards of this species, is probably saying something. So, this alien inevitably gets out, and runs across a family in true Superman-style origin story fashion. And immediately takes the form of a human boy, to amuse the young daughter of the family.
Oh god, I see where this is going.
So this is a story where Kirito is basically an eldritch abomination.
Wow.
So you mean explicitly an eldritch abomination instead of just basically acting like one?
Yeah. So... It's surprisingly amusing how it doesn't go along canon rails, like, at all, really, but still manages to gather the harem, so to speak.
Well,
it's kind
of course
of
he's
amusing.
gathering a hair.
Yeah, it's kind of amusing how that happens anyway, despite being a Leviathan monster.
Well, the ladies want the tentacles and mouths.
Apparently, yeah. It's... Yeah. It's just baseline amusing as a concept as you're reading it, and that's a good place to start from when telling a story. So, I thought it was fun. It's still going. Last updated 14th of May, so about, just under a week ago. And only started at the beginning of April, so very new fic, and fairly regular updates. So, yeah, totally recommend this one. It's amusing. I'll link it in case anyone else wants to see it. Most of these links are just for my benefit. Oh, I already did. Go me, being proactive like that. All right.
Yay.
So, I guess that pretty much does it for this episode, unless anyone wants to...
I'm sorry, what?
I'm going to take that as a no. So, I'd like to thank everyone for listening to Fandom Flux Podcast episode 176. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do so through the YouTube channel with the comments. Please don't on Patreon if you feel so inclined. Once again, I'd like to thank you for listening to Fandom Flux Podcast episode 176. Bye now.
Catch you later, everyone. And now it's time to listen to some good music.